Hello, everybody. Welcome into Across America Good News Edition. My name is Chip Brewster. I'm a national digital host with Nexstar Media, and this is a show all about good news. Yeah, I don't know if good news is really the proper title. Really, it's unique news. Feature stories from across America are more than 110, more than 115 technically, newsrooms, and these are the stories that you wouldn't find if you didn't live in that area. So I assume most people watching out there don't live in every local town across America. So this show is for you. This show is also for me, if I'm being honest. Like, I just love getting those local feature pieces and bringing them all together to look at the news from the week that was in a slightly different light. What are some of the stories that we've got on this week's program? We're gonna meet a man that takes matchsticks and turns them into marvels. Another man that takes scrap metal and turns them into bugs. A really cute animal, and it's a rare one. On top of it, speaking of rare, a rare blooming of a particular flower with a particular scent. Hacky sacks are back in the news. And finally, the return of an item after nearly 3 decades of being lost. It's possible. I'm going to give hope out there to everybody that's lost something at one point in their lives, and you're hoping you get it back. But before we get to those stories, we are going to start with one from our station in Austin, Texas. That's KXAN. And it is about art of a different kind at the nanoscopic level. And while, yes, this piece is all about making things look cool at truly the tiniest of tiny scales, it's also about how that type of art, for lack of a better term, could change the way that medicine works.
When we think of DNA, we don't think of making things with DNA.
One of the main advantages of DNA origami field is that you can make them into different shapes and design.
So we're making things at the nanoscale. It's hard to make lots of them, and now we're able to make them more efficiently and put them into bigger materials. I'm Alex Maris. I'm a professor here at UT Austin in mechanical engineering. We have this ability to design sequences and synthesize specific sequences that all come together like Legos to make these nanoscale devices.
We have this long strand of DNA, which we call a scaffold strand. I'm James Houston. I'm a 4th year PhD at UT Austin. We add hundreds of staple strands to the scaffold strand, and these staple strands force the scaffold to fold, if you will, into this specific shape that we design, kind of the same way of paper origami. I was responsible for designing this longhorn and I guess making it come to life.
I'm focusing on using these DNA origami for delivering chemotherapy drugs. My name is Mason Mohammadi, and I'm a 3rd year PhD student working in nanoassembly lab. We're trying to develop new techniques in order to coat them and protect them to make them targeted to cancerous cells and avoid, harming the healthy cells.
The way it works, it comes here, if you incubate it and let it sit for 10 hours, it will come here and it will reside between these double helices. As this one degrades, so it will release the SHADDOX molecule.
We want to understand the factors that go into the assembly and make them more efficient. Usually it takes multiple days. My students were able to get that down to a few hours and actually make it more efficient.
Get more people knowing about, we can use DNA as a structure material to build not only the longhorn, but maybe drug delivery carriers and other types of things. We can actually advance this field, and longhorn is just a small step in what's to come, I think, in the future.
An intersection of art and science, to be sure. Super curious to see what comes of that and how it changes the world. And perhaps one day it will, and you'll get to say, hey, I saw that first on that Across America Good News Edition show that I just love so much. I'm sure you're saying that every day. Anyway, I digress. Let's continue on, shall we? The next story coming to us from our station, WHO in Des Moines, Iowa. And speaking of science and art, some of that art out there really takes skill and precision. And what this guy does in this story, it's like the epitome of skill and precision, all while using matchsticks as his source material.
I started this in 1977, so 49 years ago. And what happened is I did the original couple projects just for something to do. But as it quickly became a passion, so I'd get one thing done and I'd say, oh, I want to try this.
He kept going, making projects bigger.
The Iowa is one of many ships that I've made.
And better.
The Capitol, I just love the architecture in the Capitol.
Ripley's, believe it or not, signed a contract with Acton to produce projects for 3 years. That turned into 13.
Because of my relationship with Ripley's, they have museums all over the world. So I have models in Europe and in Asia and in Australia and Central America and the United States.
Pat's latest work, this Disney Princess Castle.
This has about just a few over 600,000 sticks, so well over 500,000 sticks. It took 2 full years. The castle portion, the fortified castle portion coming up to here, I completed in the first year along with the landscaping. The palace itself, Tinkerbell, the carvings, that was all done in this last year.
Well, the matchstick building career of Pat Acton is winding down. He's made a total of 80 models so far, and he's got enough matchsticks and energy left for maybe a couple more projects.
I have a few over 500,000 sticks left, and I'm currently working on the big boy, the Union Pacific big boy steam locomotive. So I should have one, maybe a one medium-sized or smaller project, and that's probably going to be the a Star Wars model. I have a beautiful woodworking shop, and I've never done any traditional woodworking since I was a kid in my dad's shop. So I want to go back and pursue that a little bit.
From Ladbroke, Roger Riley, WHO 13 News.
He's got a woodworking shop, and his big thing is matchstick working. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's amazing work. It's just funny. And I'm excited for him, you know, to retire from a very unique form of art and yet still get to make art in another form. So cool stuff. And we're going to keep the art theme going. My last art story for the day, a nicely grouped set of art stories. This next one coming to us from our station KSNW in Wichita, Kansas. And it's about a kind of something similar, a man taking something that otherwise wouldn't be art and turning it into it. But his purpose was not just for hobby. It was also to hopefully help improve his town.
Guarding the outskirts of town and looming on top of its buildings, Anthony is crawling with mysterious creatures made out of scrap. And to meet the mind behind the metal wings, just follow the bugs.
It really is difficult to pick a favorite.
For the last 3 years,
They're all my little bugs, my baby bugs.
Don Atha has spent retirement
Okay.
shut in his shop, creating unique art for an unusual gallery.
I'm working on wings for the grasshopper.
Don taught himself to weld for the project, so far creating more than 130 sculptures.
The idea came first. What I'll do is I'll just look around the shop, see what materials I have, and I'll just go from there.
But Don's creepies crawling around town are more than an artistic outlet.
I think we see, smaller communities, dying. And we need to attract people who will come in and spend some money.
They may be hard to miss, and that's the point.
It's a hook.
Demand for his talent is up, with people, nonprofits, and businesses in Anthony all on a wait list for their very own bug.
I don't know, I love them all.
It's hard to say for sure if the mission has been successful, but one thing is certain.
And see, this will eventually
It's only a matter of time
be affixed to this.
before his newest bug leaves the nest.
I have to work that out.
Here for you, Peyton Steiner, KSN News 3.
Cool. Just cool. That's all I got for that one. Hey, let's take a quick break. When we come back, though, more good news stories from across America. Welcome back. If you haven't heard by now, I've certainly included a couple of stories here and there on this particular program. It is the 100th year of Route 66, the Mother Road. And Nexstar as a company has been trying to get some of those stories from not only across time, but even modern day related to Route 66. This is the first one I've seen that really does a nice job just capturing the entire 100-year history. So you learn a little something along the way. It's coming to us from our station KTLA in Los Angeles, California, which is essentially home to one end in Santa Monica of Route 66.
Here are the places you'll go. Every places you go.
Every places you go, dude.
You know, you're gonna get a lot of places.
When Route 66 officially opened in 1926, it connected small towns and big cities, from Chicago to Los Angeles, creating a single path west when the country really needed it. 1930s America was the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl. Route 66 was a path to hope. Families loaded up everything they owned onto their cars and drove west. In 1939, John Steinbeck famously called it the Mother Road in The Grapes of Wrath, and it stuck. While you know the Midwestern portions of Route 66 for their quirky roadside attractions and vast open plains, California is the end of the road. Starting in the Mojave, through the high desert, through San Bernardino to LA County, along Santa Monica Boulevard, ending at the ocean. Along the way, a mix of roadside folk art, iconic architecture, and very, very good diners.
So good.
Good.
Born from the Mother Road, still there today. We usually think of Route 66 as an open, welcoming highway, but it was California that actively tried to shut it down for certain people. During the height of the Great Depression, the Los Angeles Police Department deployed a so-called bum blockade. LAPD officers were sent hundreds of miles outside of their jurisdiction to state border crossings to turn back migrants who lacked money or clear employment. These checkpoints were later found to be unconstitutional. But of the Dust Bowl migrants who moved west, hundreds of thousands of working-class people settled in Southern California. When World War II began, these workers became the backbone of SoCal's massive aerospace and shipbuilding boom. After World War II, Route 66 changed again. With some clever marketing by the Auto Club and a song about getting your kicks, desperation gave way to optimism. Families on vacation, soldiers returning home from overseas, and Americans discovering the sheer joy of the open road. And as the population of the IE and LA exploded, the car-centric culture demanded speed. McDonald's started here, along with Googie architecture, the neon space-age sweeping style where the building is the billboard. What do they serve here? You know it's not soup. Over the years, the freeway changed everything. Route 66 became blighted, passed over, abandoned. And that was the story for a long time. But a group of people are still making it happen, meeting people where they are, traveling the route, remembering Americana, and figuring out how to keep it going for another 100 years. Turns out, there's plenty still to see on Route 66. You can still absolutely get your kicks.
So that's just a couple of minutes of a much bigger special that KTLA and Andy put together. If you, I think if you search the internet, you'll find it, certainly in the KTLA area. I obviously don't have time for this show, though, to bring you that entire thing. Really cool stuff, and just one of many stories that we've been gathering on the ground as Nexstar Media Group. Next story, though, for this particular show is going to talk about something that was once old and yet is new again. The FOOTBAG. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, FOOTBAG. That's a thing.
On the campus of Appalachian State, something old school is in session.
Always learning. Always learning.
Charlie gets his kick in it with his circle of friends.
So I started playing hacky sack. My friend Charles, the filling in the bag as it goes up hits the top of the bag, and if you do it just right, you can make it hang in the air.
To recap, we have Charlie, Charles, and we assume players with different names surrounding a hacky sack, also known as a footbag.
And nobody wants to go footbagging. It's the dumbest sounding sport, you know?
I saw these guys doing the hacky sack stuff, and they made me tired.
The staple of the 80s and 90s has made a resurgence across the country, from here to Hackensack, New Jersey.
Drop your foot slowly to about knee level just before the footbag hits.
Footbag followers say viral videos sparked renewed interest.
Anytime I'm queuing at the grocery store or in the airport is a great place.
Good luck getting your hands or feet on a footbag these days. For months, they've been sold out at local stores, and clearly the hacky sack is back.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, it's very true there's a hacky sack shortage right now. Yeah, people are just trying to get whatever they can as fast as they can.
Months before the boom began in April, Charlie started making his own footbags just for fun. Now the App State geography major has a business called Charlie Bag, offering hand-stitched, customizable bags.
They're less fill, they flatten, unlike some of these crocheted ones. So they do sit on your foot a little better.
One stitch at a time, Charlie does his part, but he can begin to fill the massive nationwide demand.
But when you see so many people all of a sudden excited to go play, it's wiping stores out of inventory.
Grayson Herdman of World Footbag, based in Colorado, says sales jumped tenfold since spring.
It's the inclusiveness, it's everyone coming together to just have the simple goal of keeping a bag in the air.
Whether you call it a foot bag,
It's one of the only sports or games that fits in your pocket and you can take anywhere.
or hacky sack, it's still alive and kicking.
So it's dangerous. I was like, I'm about to get kicked in the face.
I did kick Carter in the face the other day.
I've only been watching them 2 minutes, and they made me tired.
In Boone, John Lee, Queen City News.
I'd actually totally separate from seeing this story today when I was gathering up the content for the show, read about the comeback of the footbag, the hacky sack. So it was just cool to see out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I totally forgot to tell you guys, WJZY, Charlotte, North Carolina, doing that story just as proof. It's not just like in the West. I'd read it happened in the, was it Portland or Seattle, the Northwest area, but spreading all the way out to the east as well. We've got to take one more quick break, but on the other side of this one, we're going to talk about a rare flower blooming and a rare type of animal. It's a hybrid, and I'm not talking about like a golden doodle. It's a farmyard hybrid. Stick around to learn more. We are back. I've got those two stories plus one more for you. We're going to start, though, with the rare flower. I'm sure you've heard of it. Have you ever seen it in person? Maybe you've seen some video. It's called a corpse flower. And the reason for that is the stench. But what a lot of people tend to focus on, that smell, we're going to shy away from. One, you can't smell it through here. But two, because it only blooms, it takes years for the initial bloom. And then it's a rare, like sporadic thing for every 3 to 5 after that. Just crazy amount of time, and you get to see one in bloom right now.
It's taken the corpse flower at URI 7 years to bloom, and by tomorrow, it may already be gone. The line to get into URI's greenhouse on Wednesday wrapped around the corner.
We've been waiting for about 30 minutes.
We've been waiting for 45 minutes.
We've been waiting in line for about 45 minutes now?
I've been in line for just under an hour.
And I've been waiting about 45 minutes so far.
All these people are waiting to see this corpse flower.
It's taller than me. It's so big.
The plant gets its name from the smell it emits when it blooms.
I've never smelled anything like it before. It's like really unique.
It smells like it's something that's a little bit old.
Rotten flesh. Maybe musky, like funky. Old garbage a little bit.
Stink. Ben Robbins is the greenhouse manager at URI. He says there's a good reason for that smell.
It's pollinated by these beetles that are looking for dead animals. That's why it smells like a dead body when it flowers.
He's spent years taking care of this plant.
Within a day, this whole thing will be keeled over. So, I mean, you can already see the sides of the spades starting to die back a little bit.
This rare flower's fleeting life may be the reason it's drawn such a crowd.
I didn't really expect this level of interest, but you know, it's great.
Robbins told me there's roughly a 50-50 chance the plant will survive after the flower collapses. If it lives, it may bloom again, but not for a couple years. In the newsroom, I'm Leah Crowley, 12 News.
And just in case you didn't pick up on it from the video that came from our station WPRI in Providence, Rhode Island, and URI is University of Rhode Island. So there you have it. You got the beauty without the scent. Still probably worth seeing in person, though, if you ever get the chance, though. A very, very small window, apparently. Next story for you on this week's Good News Edition comes to us from KTXL in Sacramento, California, and it's about a lost item found and returned to its owner nearly 3 decades later.
A pretty incredible story, considering that this wallet was found after 29 years in just 2 to 3 feet of water. Also just incredible, the amount of people that got involved trying to find the owner of the wallet, people from across the country.
Dean got his wallet back right there, right on.
This was the happy day last week when Carmichael resident Dean Tormey was reunited with his long-lost wallet.
You get a time capsule you never knew you planted. It's amazing.
Kayaker Lloyd Coward found the wallet 2 Sundays ago, got a hold of his buddy Carl Bly, who runs the Facebook group American River Lost and Found, and posted about it online.
That was the one thing that really hit me when a person from Idaho, sent my wife a text, and my wife comes over. I just got this text, and it reads, Dean, did you lose a wallet 29 years ago on the American River? And I'm looking at the pictures, and these 2 faded pieces of paper, but they were written on there, and it's my wife's handwriting, no doubt. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. I'm back in time. I remember those pictures in my wallet, and oh, wow.
Dean believes he lost his wallet while fly fishing in the area. 29 years later.
We go up Hey Sailor Bar, then back down to Gady Park, or Riverbend Park. And I was just towards the end where the river splits in 3 ways. I just saw something square. It had things growing out of it. It was in that much water, and it was packed full of silt. I couldn't get any of the cards out.
So Lloyd went over to his buddy Carl, who was able to pull a Wells Fargo card out with an expiration date of 1996.
And both of us kind of like, is it possible this wallet was in the river that long? So yeah, 29 years.
Carl says that's the record right now for the longest something's been lost and returned. Both Lloyd and Carl have made some amazing discoveries in the river over the years. Just today, Carl found a cell phone wallet combo, which went wayward just yesterday. The phone is still charged, and the owner's already been contacted.
There's kind of a spirit in the river. Everybody who's on the river, they're kind of kindred souls. Everybody's out there to have a good time, and if you can help somebody have a good time or turn their bad moment into a good memory, that's really the goal.
And Lloyd said among his favorite finds was a very expensive rod and reel, which belonged to a man that just received it as a Father's Day gift from his wife and son. Reporting in Sac County tonight, covering local news that matters, ROWENA, SHADDOX, Fox 40 News.
So if you've lost something, particularly in a river, it seems, and you really miss it, it seems you also have some hope for it to return. I once left a wallet, not really lost, totally left, just forgot the wallet on a train between Bloomington, Normal, Illinois, and St. Louis. That was about 20 years ago. I have no hope. That is long gone. But just in case this story happens to find someone that found a wallet 20 years ago and you've been holding on to it, looking for the guy who's missing it, I'd love to get that back. Boy, I really regret that one. Anyway, one more story to wrap up this week's show, and it comes to us from our station WJZY in Cleveland, Ohio. And it is about a barnyard hybrid animal that I frankly didn't know was possible, but man, is it adorable.
I thought I was crazy.
A barnyard baby daddy mystery and unique birth in Olmsted Falls.
A lot of them are rescues or offspring from the rescues. They're just kind of here to live out their days and be cute.
And at the center of the paternity puzzle is a 5-year-old adopted sheep named Ramona.
And she has wanted to be a mom since the first couple months. We've had goat babies for the past 7 years, I think. And every year she tries to steal their babies.
They hoped Russell the ram could help, but felt both happy and confused when Ramona became pregnant.
Congrats, I didn't see her doing anything with Russell, but she was canoodling with a few others. We're not going to mention her history, but she definitely wanted to be pregnant.
The farm collectively gobsmacked when baby Clara was born this Memorial Day.
He sent me a picture and he's like, oh, Ramona had a baby. And I said, okay, well, who's this? That's a goat, not a sheep.
All eyes turning to Karev the goat.
Karev, he is a little bit of a player, but when you take into account all of the factors, she looked more like a goat, she acts more like a goat, she sounds more like a goat. The sheep shearer came out and said, it's crossed with something. And then you look at a side-by-side, it's hard to ignore.
Sheep and goats frequently live together on a farm, and they do occasionally intermingle. But to produce a healthy offspring like little Clara here is exceedingly rare.
They're called GEEPs and usually don't survive birth.
Because they're really not meant to be. I mean, they have a different number of chromosomes than both goats and sheep, and they just don't make a really healthy animal, typically.
Joe, Bridget, and their kids did a DNA test, but learned only an expensive chromosome test can confirm Clara's paternity.
So we have to do what's called karyotyping. That's anywhere from $700 to $1,000, and I could stock my whole hayloft for $700 to $1,000, so as long as she seems to be doing okay, I'm okay with kind of waiting, even though it's killing me.
Followers on Facebook suggested a GoFundMe.
It'd be nice to know because everyone else wants to know, but I kind of hope she's just a sheep. Just for the less complications going forward and the extended lifespan.
Because they say, GEEP or not, what matters most is Ramona's love and bleeding heart for baby Clara.
Since I wanted to live a happy, healthy life.
That was why we were so excited for her to be pregnant in the first place. She wanted a baby more than anything, huh?
In Olmsted Falls, Suzanne, Stratford, Fox 8 News.
Suzanne, oh my gosh, what a great reporting job, because that story had everything. A cute animal, a paternity mystery, a mama that wanted a baby so bad, but she was also kind of got around a little bit. And just like the interviews that you couldn't hear me because I mute myself, but the number of times that I laughed out loud watching that, but also being like, oh, I'm so happy for that little goat, or the sheep, excuse me. What a great story. What a great story, and you saw it here on Across America Good News Edition. Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. I appreciate everybody joining us, as always, and hopefully we gave you a little smile to end the thing on. Until next week, I'm Chip Brewster. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you next time.